Well, hey, ladies.
Hey!
How's it going so far?
Oh my God, I'm having the time of my life and we're presenting so much content. This is awesome.
I think so too. Is everybody else having a great time?
It's
Yeah.
always a great time with your EWI sisters.
Well said, Cheryl. Oh my gosh, so great. So listen, what I was thinking about is when talking about Leadership Caucus, a lot of us, we've been long-term members of EWI, and we take a lot of our knowledge for granted. I think sometimes we assume that all of our members know certain things, and maybe they do, but maybe they don't. So our session today is called EWI 101. I'm an EWI member, now what? So I just thought that maybe each of us could take 3 or 4 minutes to talk about something that perhaps another member may not know, and it should be something that is important that we want to share with them today. So, all right, so you in? We're in.
We're in.
Okay. All right, so let's get started. And Kathy, I just thought you would be a perfect person to lead us off and talk about a little bit of the EWI history and our principles. So, what's on your heart?
Well, thank you for that opportunity. And I am just so inspired by Lucille Johnson Perkins that I would like to talk a little bit about her. She started this organization in 1938. And you think of how many years that's been, and this organization is still going strong. And I feel like she kind of paved the way for a lot of women, because you think of how it was for women back in 1938 and where we are today. So It is a very inspiring story. And she started this organization sitting in her living room with 3 or 4 women just sitting around and talking, and look at where we're at today. We have 1,250 representatives right now, and we have over 1,000 member firms right now. And I mean, that's just amazing to think of that. And we just continue to grow. And so she come up with, just like our mission and vision statements. And when you read what she has written, they're really close to what they are still today. We've kept that same concept going. And I just think it's really been amazing to see that. And to have 38 chapters, we have really come a long ways.
I think when you talk about, too, when you mentioned that she started this like sitting in her living room, and I'm just envisioning, like, that could have been one of us, sitting in the living room with 2 or 3 of our friends, and great ideas can come from a small group of people. Big ideas aren't always born from corporations or from masses of people. It can be an idea from one person, and then take 2 or 3 of your friends and look at where we are, just like you're saying, Kathy. I mean, we're over 80 years strong.
Yeah.
So I think that's very cool, and it speaks volumes when you're talking about a professional organization like today. So anything else on your mind, Kathy?
I'd like to mention that, talking about having 3 or 4 women sitting around a table in the living room and how that started out, how, if you're in a chapter that is small and you're trying to build it, let this be your inspiration, that's where it started from. Or if you end up moving to another city and you're missing EWI and you want to start a chapter in another city, it's a great time. Reach back out to us and we'll be glad to help you. Any one of us would help someone start a chapter in another city. And just think of those 3 or 4 women and
That's
think
right.
of where we're at today.
That's right.
3 or 4 women and a glass of wine.
There you go. Another thing
I love
too,
that idea.
in 1977 is when the name changed to Executive Women International. It used to be called Executive Secretaries Incorporated. And so to think about how it's just evolved to where we are, we've made changes through the years, and made the necessary changes that we needed to grow and continue to grow and be relevant to
Yeah.
today's world.
Perfect word.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking, is to stay relevant. So that's awesome. Well, talking about that, so Madam President, I think I would love for you to just talk about, the fundamentals of the EWI organization, some of the policies and what governs us as a leader in a professional organization.
Christy, I, like Kathy, would like to say thank you for this opportunity to give a little bit more information about EWI, because the one thing that we are full of is acronyms. When I came into this organization, I was like,
Definitely.
EW who? So the first one I'll talk about is EWIGA, because when I heard EWIGA, I was like, okay, I just nodded and I grinned, because I thought, I didn't know what that was, and I felt like everybody else in the room knew what it was, and that I was the slow one, or the one I thought, I don't know what EWIGA is. And EWIGA it's EWI Global Alliance. It's our parent company. Who knew that? How many of you knew what EWIGA really stood for? EWIGA hosts EWI. EWIGA hosts EWI BCDP, another acronym for Business Career Development Program, and our collegiate affiliate and its members. So it's just one of those things that we think everybody knows. And I'm just very happy that Madam President-elect is here to let us make sure that our members have the information they need to keep us relevant. And our corporate board and staff work collectively together to further the board's directives and the goals for the organization. Did you know that the board of directors oversees EWI and EWI BCDP? Write that down if you didn't know that. And also, EWI is divided into 3 divisions. What are they, you might ask? I've been waiting to tell you. Eastern, Central, and Western. And right now we have 38 chapters in those 3 divisions.
Right.
I just think that's awesome. In each division, we have chapters made up of what? Member representatives, individual members, life-sustaining, and student members at the local level. And then chapters are made up of members, and EWI is made up of chapters. Corporate serves chapters, and chapters serve the members. I know your head is just going around and around and
Say that
around.
last one again, Felicia.
Chapters are made up of members, and EWI is made up of chapters. Corporate serves the chapters, and chapters serve the members. I know that's a lot to digest, but it all makes sense when you think about it. We have chapter bylaws that govern the corporate operations and the structure of our organization. We have, did I say that right? We have corporate bylaws that govern corporate operations and the structure. So excuse me. We have chapter bylaws that govern chapter operations and the structure. So if I've confused you, just stay tuned. Just remember, corporate bylaws govern corporate operations, and chapter bylaws govern chapter operations. And chapters have standing rules that help them manage the operations and processes at the local level. And one thing I want to add is that your standing rules cannot be in conflict with the corporate bylaws. So don't forget that. So, Christy, I think that's all I have on how we're structured. We have an org chart that outlines all of that, and I'm sure we'll be able to see that, as we keep going. But that's just how we're governed.
I think that's really good information. And also just to remind our reps that all of these things are out on our resource site, on our My EWI community. These are great resources. I know that some of you, like me, are not into the details and the fine print, and that's why you have people like this one, because she loves detail, and she knows those policies in and out. So if you're a chapter leader, what I love to remind people, and it really lets me exhale, is that as a leader, we don't have to know everything.
Yes.
We just need to know where to go and find the information, or who to go and ask of that information. So that's really critical as a leader to me.
And if we don't know, and then you're having a little struggle with my EWI, you know what we're supposed to, you know what we do? We look all the way to our right. And if you're not virtual, you just have a phone and an email, then you call our corporate office. You call Courtney Idy. And Courtney, that's a shameless plug. But let's talk about 501c3 and 501c6. Because are you familiar with 501c3 and 501c6?
I know the terms.
Oh, me too. So
Okay.
Courtney, give us an education on that.
I would be happy to. Hey, everyone. So I get to speak about probably the driest topic in this discussion. So I'm going to do my best to give you what you need to know. And really, that's what this is all about, is giving you the tools and the information to help you in your year ahead. So 501c3s and 501c6s are government entities that the IRS governs, and basically the IRS wants to make sure that we're doing the right thing and that we are operating within a good fiscal responsibility, and our monies are going where they're supposed to go, and everything is being cataloged financially the right way. If we do our part to make sure that we're doing that correctly, the IRS leaves us alone. If we don't do that the right way, then the IRS comes knocking. And I say that because we have been very blessed over the years to have a very good financial team, very good financial oversight from our board of directors, and a very, very responsive group of members that step up into that treasurer role in the chapters to make sure that your financials and your reporting are really, really good. So first and foremost, thank you for turning in your reports on time and doing right by the guidelines that we have for you to make sure your finances are in order. So a little bit about 501c3s. 501c3s are basically entities that help support social causes in our communities, where organizations and individuals can donate monies, and then the monies are funneled into social welfare programs, educational programs, programs that benefit the greater good of the community. Many times when you donate to a 501c3, you are able to get a tax write-off for that, or you're making a charitable contribution where you benefit from that personally or at the corporate level. 501c6s are classified a little bit different with the IRS. They're business leagues or associations that are membership driven. They are not tax deductible at all, and they're organized and operated primarily to promote business interests of the members. So EWI is a membership-based association, and we're made up of members that pay dues, and then we provide programming that benefits and is valuable to the members of our organization. One key thing to keep in mind is that our membership association and our BCDP initiatives are separate entities. So EWI as a chapter is a 501c6 structure with the IRS, and EWI BCDP in your chapters is set up as a 501c3. EWI BCDP is a corporate entity, and through our bylaws, we allow the chapters to participate in that programming, and there's specific financial rules that we have to follow as a 501c3. So one of the key things that I have heard from many of our members, or questions we've heard from chapters, is, can I move money between the two accounts in my chapter? The answer is no, you cannot. I cannot be more clear about that. So what I would tell you is that your membership-based association is kind of like home base. Your monies go into your EWI operating account, and that is your business unit. If you have a really healthy year and you're going to make contributions to your BCDP initiatives, then you can certainly do that and move money from your operating account into your philanthropy account. But the reverse is not the same. You cannot move monies from BCDP into your operating account. So what I would say is, if you have a question about whether or not you can do something, please contact myself or a member of the corporate board, and we will be happy to help you figure out the best way for you to do that in your chapter. And then what I would say about this is that it may be a really unfamiliar or unpopular topic, because most things are about dry topics like 501c3s and 501c6s, but the key thing is we really want to make sure you understand it, because it's the foundation for our operations. If we don't do the right things to operate, we can put everybody in our organization in jeopardy, and we want to make sure that we don't do that. So with that being said, I'm going to transition my dry topic for this nice fireside chat.
But you did a fabulous job, Court.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm laughing on
To Cheryl. And Cheryl's going to talk all about what's in it for me.
What's in it for
Let's
me?
talk about me.
Okay, all about me this time. Okay. Let's talk about your membership benefits. So there are so many. One of the top ones that comes straight to my head is our monthly webinars. And remember, these are professional webinars. They're not only for the rep in EWI, but the rep's firm's members. You can share them. And I hear a lot of times, well, I can't watch them during the day because I'm working. And that's totally understandable. Your job comes first. So they're recorded. And Courtney usually has them on the website by that day sometime. So take advantage of it. You've got an hour time sometime. You're eating lunch at your desk. Watch a webinar. Instead of watching some crazy movie at night, watch a webinar. Or you don't have an interesting book, watch the webinar. They're fabulous. And another acronym is LCAM. Our leadership conference and annual meeting. I almost forgot what it was. I know.
We got your back.
It's been a long day. We have great speakers, and you have great opportunities to learn everything from education to leadership at an LCAM experience. Take advantage of it. Ask your executive if you can go, and we have a whole list of things in the resources on how to ask your executive. So he's going to say yes or no, or she's going to say yes or no. Either way, at least you took the opportunity to ask, and you educated them on something we do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Other things are board service, starting at the chapter level. Work your way up the board, or like me, I was on the board the first meeting, I think. Sure, I'll do programs. I don't even know what EWI is or is about, but I'll do it. And was it tough? Yeah, it was tough. But I learned a lot about myself, and that's all in the education and expanding your leadership and getting better.
Hey, Cheryl, do you think, as far as, I know a lot of times when we ask our reps to serve on a chapter board, a lot of times people are looking at it from the time commitment involved. But don't you think it's also important for our reps to understand that this experience on the board, like if, for instance, if you are in charge of programs, that you can articulate that on your resume to say, now I'm an event planner. I negotiate contracts for food and beverage. I work with AV people. I mean, those are the kind of things that you can actually articulate on your resume. And I think oftentimes when we are considering serving on a board, we are looking at what else are we going to have to give from our time commitment standpoint. But I would also say, think about how you can use this, what's in it for you, resume builder.
Right. I mean, what if you're not content in your position and you want to move up, I mean, you can stay in your position and just